Good afternoon. Welcome to Afternoon Chat. I'm your host, Ghost Mostly. Happy Friday. How's everybody doing? It's been a long week. Haven't had one in the chat. Okay. I think next week will be better. It has to be. Okay. Afternoon Chat is an open chat room. Can discuss anything you'd like to talk about. It airs Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No set topic, and the show's 100% free. No sponsors, no mid-roll ads, no charge. Okay. I'm probably the only one I know of on TV that's not selling you anything. Okay. No hustle. Not trying to control, manipulate, or anything like that. I do need our viewers to like and subscribe. That's so my media company, Ghost Mostly Media, LLC. That's so eventually we can become monetized on YouTube. Not for this show, but for other endeavors that I might get into with my media company. This show is 100% free. I don't know who YouTube is putting us in front of, but eventually their algorithm will sort us out and they'll get us in front of the right people. And the chat will populate eventually. People will be in there and we'll be talking. Hopefully. Okay. I think this is the end of week 5. We've finally ironed out all the mechanical issues that I was having with the stream. That's all calmed down now, and we appear to be running smooth without issue. I don't know why our Wi-Fi wasn't working, but now I've hardwired my laptop directly to my router. Okay. So we're not relying on the unreliable Spectrum Wi-Fi. I'm expecting the show to take off and the chat to be populated, but I'm also willing to be patient for this to happen. When I decided to start this project, I decided that I'd give it, 3 years in an honest attempt to build a community that wants to chat in the middle of the afternoon. I'm going to let the chat determine where we go with this show. If we end up adjusting the hours, we'll adjust the hours. My routine is pretty set right now, so I'm pretty comfortable with the show. I have no issue getting here at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But if the chat, should be early or or later, we'll make adjustments as need be. I don't know. I don't see too many people jumping in and chatting. So as far as I'm concerned, YouTube's not probably not putting us in front of the people that already have the Discord app. If you don't have it, go to YouTube and download the Discord app. It is free, and that will allow you to get in and chat during the show. I don't think most TVs can function. Maybe if you got the latest smart TV with all the bells and whistles, you might be able to get your TV to chat. But as far as I know, everyone's got to use another device like their phone or a tablet or computer of some type. That's just a chat. You can watch, and you can use your TV to enable the chat so that you can read it, see it scroll by the screen, or scroll up the screen, I should say. It should be over here on my left. Let me paste it in there. There we go. That's where it should appear on your TV. If you've got chat enabled, you should be able to read it there next to my left arm. I've been working on lighting and the set, but this is not a sound studio or I've invited you into my living room. Okay, so. But I think the lighting appears to be sufficient now. Hopefully, next week we'll get some people in here chatting. I'm sure you're probably learning way too much information with me just sitting around here rambling for 2 hours. Okay. It'll improve. Just got to be patient. The viewing hours are increasing. I am getting a few subscribers, so, it's progressing. Can't expect something like this to populate overnight. People don't even know that we're here. And I'm not cutting a bunch of shorts or doing anything to advertise. I'm not advertising on any of the other platforms. I don't care for the other platforms. I could stream on them as well, or, at least on Twitch or something, but I don't care for that. I'm just going to stay on YouTube. People will find the show eventually. Okay. I don't want to be impatient. We're getting viewers. It's progressing. So it is what it is. The Ghost Mostly is an alias that I used when back in the day when I was writing lyrics for a band. And I didn't want the band to have to give me credit or owe me any money or anything. So I just became a ghostwriter. And that's where the nickname Ghost Mostly originated. When I was going into this project, I just simply took that alias and I pushed it forward, and I created Ghost Mostly Media LLC. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the media company yet. It's still too early. Still brainstorming, looking for ideas. If you got any ideas of what you'd like to see on YouTube, feel free to jump in the chat and we'll discuss it. Doesn't matter to me at this point. This show is the only thing I knew I wanted. Okay. I worked in most of my adult life. I was in Las Vegas, Nevada, working in the table games department of the casinos. And I got used to meeting, a lot of people from all over the globe and getting to talk to them, find out what's going on in their communities and, what's on their mind, And I kind of miss that now that I'm retired from that industry. And I see other chats, but they have specific topics that they want to discuss, and I prefer the open chat. Let's discuss whatever the people in the chat room want to discuss. Once it's populated, we'll be able to run polls through the chat and see what's on people's mind and what they want to talk about, and then we'll discuss it. I'm looking forward to that time. I find it very interesting to see, somebody that lives in a different part of the world than I do. I like to find out what's going on in their everyday lives, what concerns them, what their priorities are. Gatorade. It's to increase my electrolyte intake. I drink one every afternoon. Things are running on time today, so I've got the Gatorade going already. Okay. Yeah, I can offer you my opinion on things, but I can only offer you my perspective, what I see from my corner of my couch. I look forward to finding out your perspective, what you see from your position on the planet. I smoke cigarettes. I don't recommend it. Okay. I cured all my other bad habits. I'm content with this one. Okay. I smoke both cigarettes and pot. I smoked the cigarettes, so I cut down on the pot intake, and then I smoked the pot to cut down on the tobacco intake, and it works for me. I don't recommend it to others. And I'm in Michigan, and marijuana consumption is legal here. I do not recommend anyone ever break any laws. Okay. And I do not recommend smoking to anyone ever. I've been doing it for most of my life. I get checked. I'm in good health. I can't say that it'll come out the same. I have no idea, thus I don't recommend it. I thought Monday this week I did a bad job on the show. Okay. But since then, it's been going smooth. I'm happy with it. I think I'm sitting up a little bit straighter. Okay. I see no production problems from my end. I'm not getting any warnings on my screen or any negative feedback in any way. Earlier in the week, I looked at the analytics page, and I got like a little sticker from YouTube that told me I was doing a great job. So it is what it is. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, someone will get in the chat and we can have a discussion. I'm not in any rush. When I decided to do this project, I thought in order to build a live chat audience, it's going to take time. So we have to be patient. It'll all work out. But if you've ever wanted to talk to your TV, here's your golden opportunity. Okay. All you got to have is that Discord app. The only real rules here are to follow the community guidelines that YouTube has got set up. As long as you don't get me in trouble with YouTube, we're going to be fine. Okay. I'm very interested in the whole live streaming and the whole YouTube platform. It seems very interesting to me. I see it as endless. I don't see any limits on it at all. I'm trying to think up video ideas and things that I can do after I get monetized. I was thinking along the lines of instructional videos. Well, any kind of instructional videos. There are things in this world that we need to be able to do, and we may not have the knowledge to do. And I learned a while back, if you need a quick tutorial on something, punch it up on YouTube and see if there's a video. In many instances, it is. I'm not sure, what else I should put in. I've had a couple of ideas through the week, a couple of thoughts about it, but nothing's etched in stone. And I'm hoping that once the chat is populated, people will tell me what they're interested in, what they're looking to see. After I've got enough input, I'll make a choice as to what directions I want to take my media company into. But at the rate I'm going, it's going to be after Christmas before I get monetized. So, there's no rush in that, As long as it's on an uphill trajectory and we're improving and getting more views and I'm getting the likes and subscribes that YouTube requires, I think it's moving along just fine. I don't feel any undue pressure or anything about this. It seems to be working. Okay, so as long as it's working, I'm not going to tinker with it. Not too much, anyways. Well, I was very concerned about the lighting that I had. but I seem to have balanced it out better. Well, I look at the skin on one side of my face is like in the shadows or darker. The other side seems to be washed out with light, but there's no like real shadow there. You can see my entire face. So I think it's getting better. The reflection in my glasses bugs me, but when no one's in the chat, I'm not required to wear the glasses. I only need those to read the chat. So I guess it depends on my level of vanity on a given day. Okay. Not that I think my glasses look bad, but you know, they're all right. But I had, with the lighting, I had it so dark in here that my hair was looking like it was red. I don't have red hair. Okay. So it'll all work out in the end. I'll probably end up buying some diffused lighting fixtures, something like that. And it's like I'll probably decorate the set in some way back behind me. It's just a white wall. It looks kind of washed out. But I think the diffused lighting will aid with the shine that comes off the leather couch. Well, when I picked out the couch and so I didn't know that I was going to be putting my living room on TV. You know, I mean, when I decorated the apartment, I was, getting something that I felt comfortable with. I wasn't like designing a set for television. Okay. Well, I moved in here 3 years ago. So, I just, I'm in Southwest Michigan in an apartment. So I've invited the whole world in here for a conversation. So please act accordingly. Okay. I I honestly, I'm very excited about this platform. I'm thinking there's almost no limits to what I could do with this. I haven't decided anything other than this show. I did offer Pastor Tim his own show, but he's going through some health issues with him and his family right now. And I think his plate is full at this point. So we'll cut him some slack and, maybe we'll check back with him next year. But I did offer to put him on. He's already on Facebook and probably happy with that. But if he wants more exposure, he's a nice guy. Okay. He's got a lot to offer. So he's not really my pastor. He's my father's pastor. I just kind of claim him because, I like him. I don't go to church on Sunday. I go to football. Yeah. That just another one of my faults, rearing its ugly head. I can't help it. I'm a human being. I am not AI. Flesh and blood man here. I'm not an avatar. Okay. It's all gonna work out in the end. I try to keep a positive aspect, the proverbial glass half full, half empty. I consider it half full, right? my personal opinion. That's the only thing I can offer you until you guys jump in the chat and share your opinions. The only opinion I can offer you is my own. I think it'd be absurd for me to try to offer you your own opinion. Okay. I don't know what that is. I don't know what your perspective is. You may be going through something that you would like to discuss and get input. There's a number of times in my life where I've sought out counseling and wanted to take a more of an overview of what I was going through. Well, all kinds of things, dealing with grief, raising children, any number of topics. I have 2 sons and a granddaughter. The granddaughter's a treasure. Okay. I know that's a biased opinion, but I got no problem with that. She's, all my family's still out in Las Vegas. My immediate family. I'm from Southwest Michigan originally, so most of my family roots are in this area. I do a Tuesday morning family breakfast at a local restaurant. Anywhere from 6 to 10 of us get together on a weekly basis and we share updates on what's going on with the family, both kids and grandkids, and I like that kind of stuff now. It warms my heart. When I was younger, I didn't have time. I was always busy. I was in the rat race, like most of you. Okay. People will find out that the show's here and they'll jump in and we'll have some conversations with them. We'll meet them. We'll find out, where they're from and what they're into and what's on their mind. Personally, biggest thing on my mind is football. I'm a Lions fan. I don't hide that. That was actually the what came to mind when I was designing this show and setting the hours and all that is I didn't want it to interfere with my watching the Lions games. Okay. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the holidays. If the Lions are playing, I probably will not have a show. Okay. I'll probably choose to watch the Lions. I'm a fan. I can't help it. And, football doesn't go year round. So, I understand. And if the game is going to be early enough in the day that I can start at 3, we'll start it at 3. But, if there's conflicting schedules, I'm probably going to opt to see my football team. Okay. Selfish as it may be, you should probably jump in the chat and rake me over the coals for that. Teach me a lesson. How else am I going to learn? Okay. Hopefully the chat will populate it'll be busy in here. There'll be a lot going on, and I will drift into the background. And I mean, I'm a ghost mostly, right? I might turn out to be, not even here. Well, when the chat populates, I'm going to also have to moderate the channel, right? For some reason, there are bots that have to be kicked out on like a daily basis. So I'll have to get all on top of that garbage. I don't plan on really censoring the channel. One of the things I've been working on for the last month is cleaning up my language and trying to present more of a G-rated format. But if the chat ends up taking it to an R-rated format, so be it. I'm going to let the people in the chat be the stars of the show. I have no desire to be the star. I just soon be in the background, right? Helpful little bit of eye candy. Okay, I don't know how else to phrase that, It is what it is. But we'll get people in the chat, and they'll be the stars of the show, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to them, 5 days a week for 2 hours a day. People have a right to voice their opinion, in my opinion. And it interests me what they think, what they feel. You don't know what somebody else is going through. So you don't know what's on their mind. But I want this channel to be inclusive and allow everyone to come in here and speak freely on any topic, whatever we happen to be discussing. Some people are gonna, just watch. They're not going to want to chat, so they don't have to. I'm not trying to force anybody into doing anything. I'm not trying to control or manipulate anyone. I'm offering an avenue and to have an open discussion. The last guy that was in the chat, we were talking about gardening. Okay. I don't know anything about gardening, except that, come harvest time, I like to eat from a garden. Fresh veggies, I'll never complain. Okay. Especially if you're growing them without a bunch of pesticides and crapola on them. Well, there's no telling what's in our food supply from these pesticides and whatnot, I'd lean more to believe that that would be a detriment to our food supplies, using pesticides and chemicals. I watched a video the other day. I think it was 20 fruits that were originally in North America that just aren't grown anymore. Well, they sustained our ancestors, right? They were able to plant, harvest, and live off of those. Why aren't we still growing those? Well, I can remember some of them, but not all of them, you know. Well, there was a number of things. Some of the fruits, they were somewhat bitter or acidic in the raw state, but once prepared properly, they were quite nutritious, right? We lost some of those, like I think what gooseberries, black currants, uh, the American chestnut or North American chestnut. You know, I can remember like mulberries. I would eat mulberries right off the tree when I was a kid. You don't see any mulberry trees anymore. Well, I'm just saying, I don't know anything about gardening, but if you want to talk about gardening, it's cool. We can discuss it. Okay. You want to change the subject? Jump into the chat. Bring up something new. I got no problems. My life nowadays is very slow paced. It's like cruise control. It's real easy going, you know. The only thing I can offer is my opinion until you jump in the chat and contrast it with your opinion. We're stuck with just me. I'm not looking for any sponsors. I want this show to last, and I'd like it to be free. And I'd also like it to be inclusive, allow everyone to participate. It's my plan that I will be defending the people in the chat. If you feel a need to lash out at someone, lash out at me. I'm right here, and I got a thick skin. I can take it. I know how freedom of speech works in this country, and it's a double-edged sword. You got the right to call someone a jerk, but they got a right to call you a jerk, so you better have a thick skin and be able to deal with that. Okay? That's just one of the facts of life growing up in America. To me, I think it's normal human behavior to lash out at some point. I don't really find that much fault with it as long as you're not becoming physically violent or threatening. A little bit of lashing out, it's all right. Our society tolerates it to a certain degree. I mean, you can go out in the street and protest and not have an issue. If you go out in the street and try to throw punches, that's a different story. Our society is not going to hold with that. If you do that, you're going to get charged with a crime. For the most part, I think all people are the same in a lot of aspects. We all want the same things. We want our kids to have it better than we had it. And we want their kids to have it better than our kids had it. We want things to improve, things to get better. We want life to be easier, yet more rewarding. Yeah, I don't know if the mic's picking that up or not, but it sounds like maintenance is busy outside. Sounds like it to me, anyway. I'm not sure how sensitive the mic is. I know that when I rewatch it, I can hear myself fine, but occasionally a bird will be outside the window chirping, or maintenance, or somebody, this morning when I wanted to sleep in, the landscapers were out there. So. Well, I did sleep in somewhat this morning. I might have slept longer had they not been right outside the window with the weed whacker, you know. I don't know why, but for some reason, some of the noise bleeds through and some of it doesn't. It's like I'm running my air conditioner because it's like 80 some degrees outside. But when I rewatch the show, I don't hear the air conditioner. So it doesn't pick up that sound, but it picks up other sound. I don't know. I'll have the sound engineers look right into that. And there are no sound engineers. Sorry. No, all you got's me. Okay. That's why the show's free, because I don't have to pay anybody. Okay. We're going to keep this show free. I don't care what happens. My overhead on this is minimal. It's $13.99 a month, and YouTube gave me 2 channels. So I'm like, perfect. I can fade to $13.99. Okay. I don't, I say that, and of course, they'll probably raise the prices just to teach me a lesson. A little karma that I didn't see coming or something, It'll be all right. It'll all work out. I'm sure we'll be fine. Well, YouTube has got these tiers set up. You've got to have 1,000 subscribers, and you've got to have like 4,000 viewing hours before you get monetized. Now, for this show, I don't need to get monetized, but for my Ghost Mostly Media LLC, I definitely need that to get monetized. Okay. I mean, so, the like and subscribe I need is, for the long run. It's not crucial. I mean, I guess the likes help with the algorithm. Yeah. I'll have to speak to my producer about that. But, oh, yeah, there is no producer. Oh, so, yeah. Oh, well, I'm not going to sweat it. It'll, Hey, I looked at the analytic page and YouTube gave me a little sticker. It said I was doing a job. What more do I need? Okay. Pat myself on the back. Yeah. Well, if YouTube thinks I'm doing great, I must be doing great. We'll see. Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully we'll get there. Did you hear that? I don't know. Sounds like they're working on the eaves troughs out there or something. I'm not going to go to the window and peek. Why should I? I'm not going to go out there and help them. So, it's okay. Just, forgive the noise. Well, if I went out and I rented a studio and all this garbage, so that we didn't have that kind of background noise, then I'd need to have a commercial break on the show or something. I'd have to get a mid-roll ad in here to help cover the cost or something. By keeping my overhead down to nil, I don't need any sponsors for this. This is fulfilling my need of being able to chat and talk to people. Okay. So why should I charge you money for it? Okay. I'm not all hung up on the greed bandwagon. It seems to be, I don't know, the key to American motivation now is they're all on the greed bandwagon. Not me. I don't think that we need another set of commercials. I can't stand the commercials. That's the main problem I got with watching football is the dang commercials. I'm sick of them. It takes 3 hours, 3.5 hours to watch a football game because of all the bloody commercials. Well, I understand some of them are necessary to televise, but I don't think they got to be paying $100 million to televise one football game. I think that's kind of absurd. It makes me think that, there's like no limit. Well, what's it going to be 10 years from now? If it's $100 million for Paramount to get one football game to broadcast this weekend, what's it going to be 10 years from now? $1 million? A second? Or, you got to put a cap on that somewhere. Stop the greed train and say, whoa, we're charging enough. I don't get it. I look at it as, well, that's why I watch Tom Grossi broadcasts on YouTube when he does the football games. No commercials. I'd just soon not see another Palmolive ad or another Budweiser ad or a GMC ad. I'm tired of them. I could go the rest of my life without seeing another commercial and it wouldn't bother me a bit. And I think most people feel the same way. Why don't they just create a TV channel that is nothing but commercials? Why do we need anything else in there? Why do they need the whole football game or baseball game? Why not just run the commercials 24/7 and then the people who want to see them can switch to that channel? I'm sorry. I think they're absurd. It's like, what was that show? I tried watching something on TV the other day. Oh, Big Bang Theory or something. And I think there were more commercials than there was TV show. Seriously. I I don't know. I'm sitting there counting commercials, and there's 5 in this break, and then there's 7 in that break, and then there's another 5, and I'm like, holy crap! That's all I'm watching is the commercials. I didn't want to watch commercials. I wanted to watch that Kaylee Kuko girl, woman. Well, I thought her role in that show was interesting. It just caught me, the role she was playing as a struggling young actress living in California, you know. Well, I was thinking, similar role, you could do something with like an attractive young man going to a trade school and getting a trade and then trying to establish himself in the workforce. You know, well, I'm thinking I could write a sitcom and hire some actors and film the dang thing and put it on TV with this media company. I don't know. Just spitballing, trying to come up with an open mind, as far as what projects I could do. I was thinking yesterday about, where do I go to get instructions on how to braid my beard? Okay. Well, I have no idea. I've never worn a beard before. But some ladies in the park were telling me that I should braid it. I think because it gets all flared out when I'm out in the wind and stuff. And, I don't know. I don't know why they wanted me to braid it. They didn't offer to braid it themselves. But, I don't know. Where do you go? Can you just go into Supercuts and say, hey, braid my beard? Give them $20 and then hit the door? I mean, I don't know. Well, I should probably start by doing a YouTube search and see if there's anyone that's done instructional videos on how to braid a beard. When I started growing it, I got one of my I'm nephew rich. I have nephews all over, and I called one of my nephews and I asked him how he cares for his beard, and he told me I had to go buy beard softener, and then told me how to use it and stuff. I suppose I could call him and say, hey, how do you braid a beard? I don't know. Excuse me. It's just, I got unlimited possibilities, and I have no idea what direction I'm going to go in with this media company. Well, when I was growing up, I never had a choice of what I could put on TV. It's kind of a lot of power. Well, other projects, not this show in particular, but other projects, there's no limit to what I could do. They gave me 2 channels, so if I wanted to, I could put 2 channels worth of crap on there 24/7, right? I mean, that's the way I understand it. Who knows? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I should put trade schools online, on video, and put that online. I had a buddy that had a dealer school out in Vegas. He was, this was some years back, and he was making videos. I did one for him for roulette, I think, instructional videos. We'll see. Hopefully, the people will get into the chat and give me other ideas as well. I don't know what I don't know what I plan to do. But I was thinking that, you're better off doing original content versus somebody else's. You know what I mean? Well, you just, from a business standpoint, looking at the liability, if you were to film something and send it to me and ask me to put it on the air, and then we both end up getting sued because it wasn't your original content, you borrowed something from someone else, and I didn't check it out beforehand and just willy-nilly threw it online, liabilities arise. If you've got 100% original content, you don't have that risk. You don't have that liability. So, something to consider. I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch over the next couple of years and see what I come up with. Right now, I'm in no hurry. I'm just brainstorming and just thinking. Well, you think first, then you do research, and then you think again before you act. If you're trying to act responsibly, that is. Think, research, then think again. And then the last thing you do is act, right? We'll see. Oh, I don't know. There's any number of things, it's like learning to tie a man's tie. Are there instructional videos for that? Do they exist? Or should I make those? Well, there's all kinds of different knots that you can tie. Well, back when I was working in a suit and tie, that was a real thing. I had to tie that dang tie every day. Okay. I remember I had a piece of paper with a bunch of drawings on it that I got from, I don't know, Men's Warehouse or something, some man's clothing store. They had a little printout. Well, maybe, I should do a video of that, how to tie your tie. I don't know. Well, I could get on YouTube and research it simple enough, just do a quick search, but what would be the fun of that? That would be work. Well, the main thing that I got with coming up with original content is I don't want to spend all my time editing film. I see these guys like Tom Grassi. He's got to edit film every stinking day, or he's got to pay someone else to edit his film. That don't look like fun to me. Looks like a lot of work. Okay. I prefer fun over work every day. Hey, these are just my opinions, okay? I haven't decided what I want to do with the channel at all. And I probably won't make any rush decisions. I'll probably run it like this with just this show for probably a year or something. Well, what's the rush? I'm not caught up in the greed train, so I'm not running that race. And until I get the channel, or Ghost Mostly Media gets monetized, there's no rush for anything. Once it gets monetized, then it's a horse of a different color. Then I got to, okay, time to get busy, quit wasting time. I did good all week. I wore an overshirt the entire week. All right. I'm just trying to class it up a little bit, Well, I live in Michigan, so these are flannel shirts, When it gets cold, you need layers. And it's not cold out today. It's 80 plus degrees, so, I won't be wearing this shirt outside. Okay. Not today. I'm trying to decide if I want to go to dinner tonight or if I want to cook. I have no idea. Well, if I cook, I know what options I have in the fridge. But the restaurant I hang out with is open for dinner on Friday and Saturday nights, and they got really good food. I was there last week, as a matter of fact. Last Friday, when the stream ended at 5 o'clock, my father was sitting out in the parking lot of my complex. And he's like, "You want to go to dinner?" Okay. I had the meatloaf. It was excellent. Okay. I remember that. It was that good. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do for dinner tonight. I'll probably just cook at home, save money. Well, if I want to go out, I'll go out tomorrow probably, My big plans for Friday night, I'll probably be watching Tom Grassi's Q&A. And I probably won't chat at all. I'll probably just watch as a spectator and be satisfied with that. I don't know. I've thought about asking him some questions about YouTube broadcasting. The guy's like a genius. He's been doing it for 10 years. Well, I wonder, well, a simple question like, should I populate the chat? I can get a dozen family members and friends to jump in here and chat in every show. Would that help or would that hinder what YouTube's going to do? I feel right now that it's probably going to hinder them, but it sure as heck would help me with the show if I did it. I'd have someone to talk to other than my computer. I don't know. But that's something that I would, want to ask Tom about. And, I'm sure that he would be a plethora of information. The man seems like he's a pretty nice guy. Well, after the stream today, I'll probably smoke a bowl and take 5 minutes and check the news to see if the Diddy sentence came down or if that's going to be delayed. Oh, I think it's a real interesting case. They've been trying the guy in the court of public opinion for over a year now. So, well, I was thinking he might do something to like play up to Donald Trump or something to try to get a pardon. I think that's probably what his lawyers are telling him. If you don't like the sentence, try to get a pardon. Well, he can afford the bribe, and Trump is definitely for sale. You can buy the man. It's just that, good luck buying him 2 days in a row. Okay. Well, he's definitely for sale. But, there's no limit to the amount of greed that he's willing. I mean, the Qataris gave him a $400 million jet, and yet he let Israel bomb the shit out of him. So, he's for sale, but you got to keep buying him every day. If you don't pay every day, well, he'll turn his back on you in a heartbeat. Somebody offers him a bigger bribe going the other way. Well, the question to him is, what's the minimum bribe? In my opinion, all Americans need health care as one of our, it should be in our Bill of Rights. And, what's the minimum bribe? What's that going to cost? I could start a GoFundMe page today. Okay. If it's going to be reasonably priced. If it's, $400 million, I'm not even going to try, But he don't tell you what the minimum bribe is, Well, all of these politicians can be bribed. I'm serious. Every one of them. What do you think? AT&T is the only one that can bribe these guys, or you think that Microsoft's the only one that can bribe these guys? No, anyone can. Look what Elon Musk just did. Okay, he blew a bunch of money before the election and gave it to Trump, and then he got into that Doge bullshit, and he went in and he threw out all kinds of investigations against his companies, fired a bunch of people, and 130 days later quit. Okay, he got what he wanted, and he just hit world's richest man again, right? Yeah, easy money has no limits. Okay, but yeah, you can bribe any politician in America. Apparently, it's legal now. They'll just take a bag of cash. Ask that Tom Holman guy. Our borders are. Just put a bag of cash on the table. He'll pick it up and no questions asked. These guys, they're wasting your thoughts. Seriously, they are. When you see a politician on TV, turn off the TV. Okay, that's how absurd these guys are. Well, it's like our Vice President J.D. Vance said when he was running against Trump, he said that Trump was the American Hitler. And now he's our vice president. How much did he pay? Okay. Well, maybe he didn't pay. Maybe he got to spit or swallow. You don't know. Not with these guys. All right. They don't have the same morals that we have. They don't have the same ethics that we have. And I think you're a sucker if you think they do. Personal opinion. But each one of these politicians, they just appear, all of them, to be dirty. They couldn't survive in our world. Okay. They couldn't survive without their bribes. Okay. They don't know how. You and I, we know how. We go to work every day. These clowns don't go to work every day. No. It's absurd to think that they would even consider going to work every day. It's too easy for them to take a bribe. Just put $50,000 in a brown paper bag, set it on the corner of the table. One of them will pick it up. Guaranteed. That's all they know how to do. I'm sorry, but I'm not. You can't bribe me. Okay, it's not going to happen. One of the guys I watch on TV, Mike Kimber, he does the Lions games, right? And he's got a different sponsor every year. Right now, he's on Omaha Steaks. That's his sponsor. Cracks me up. I don't know if they paid him in steak or cash. I'm not knocking the guy. He's got a right to make a living. All right. It's just that Omaha Steaks couldn't offer me enough money to get me to change my mind about having a sponsor on this show. It just, they can't bribe me because I don't care. I'm not chasing dollar signs, right? All these other people that I see, especially our politicians, every one of them is chasing dollar signs. All of them. And that they'll change sides. If you give them a big enough bribe, they'll do a complete 180. They'll spin right around. Okay. I'd like to bribe them twice. On TV, bribe them twice. Once to say side A and once to say side B. And let's do it in the same 3-minute clip. Take the bribe, say you're pro side A, and then take the bribe and say you're pro side B. All in one hot take. Okay. You and I would never do that. All right. Normal people don't do this. Right. That's not how we function. It just isn't. It's very sad. But you know, it's the same thing as buying a hooker on the street corner. Tell me the difference between a politician and a hooker. There is no difference. They're exactly the same. Actually, you'll probably get treated better by the hooker. Okay. Well, because it's a lower dollar amount in the transaction. She's going to need to make money off of you again tomorrow. The politician, once he gets your money from you today, he'll move on to the next guy. Excuse me. No, these guys are absurd. Well, there are a couple that appear to be halfway decent, but who really knows? I would like to see a sting operation against all of Congress, all at the same time. Okay. That would be cool. Just get them all with one big bust. You know what I mean? Well, if you can afford a $400 million bribe, why only bribe one guy? Why not bribe all of them? Okay. I mean, it seems like they're setting their sights a little low. Go for the whole shooting match. Bribe the entire Congress. And then you get everything that you want. Oh, they could make it mandatory. Let's say I'm selling. Here, I'll use my TV remote. I'm selling a widget, right? If I'm going to sell a widget, right, that does nothing, I can bribe all of Congress, and I can make him pass a law that says that every American must buy my widget. Okay. That's what they're doing. They're changing the laws, right? A corporation goes in and he says, well, here, I'm going to give you millions of dollars and you roll back all these safety protocols, the ones that were put in place so that human beings didn't die. Yeah, we're going to roll all of those back, right? And then what's going to happen? Well, those Americans that weren't going to die, well, now, okay, they're going to die again. So what? It's no big deal. Okay. These people don't have a conscience. They have a price tag. Okay. Bribe them all in one shot. Get it all over with. Okay. I don't know. What are there? 435 members of the House, right? Bribe them all. Set up one big sting. Okay. And then arrest them all. And then they'll go put them in Guantanamo Bay and come to the people of America and say, okay, we got that bunch in jail. Send another bunch in. Just keep arresting them all. Stack them on top of one another like sardines in a can. Okay. You think that they have a conscience about what they're doing to us? Hell, they closed the government. They're so good at governing that they closed the government. How absurd is that? No, you and I, we would have kept the government open. We would have talked it out and worked it out so that the government didn't have to close. If you and I were governing, we would govern. They have no intention of doing that. They're not governing. They're lining their own pockets. They're chasing dollar signs. Look at them close. They got dollar signs in their eyes. Okay. They're hookers. All of them. I'm sorry, but they are. They have less value than a hooker standing on the street corner. Seriously. Look at the ones that go in between Republican Party and Democratic Party, right? For so many years, they're going to be this, and then all of a sudden they do a complete 180, and now, well, this is the correct party. These are the good guys. No, they're not. They're all bad guys. Okay, all of them. Flush them down the toilet. It's ridiculous. Maybe that's the GoFundMe that we need to start, right? Let's start a GoFundMe where all of the people of America get to take all of the politicians and put them on a boat and tell them, you got to sail the world for 10 years. No phone service, no TV time. Get on this ship and sail for 10 years. You don't get to stop at any ports. You can't land anywhere. Stay afloat. We'll drop you some supplies with a helicopter. Okay. Just put them on hold for 10 years. Put them out of our misery, right? They're creating our misery. I think that's what they do with the oil to fluctuate the price, right? Put it in a ship and send it out in the middle of the ocean and just forget about it. Oh, there's such a demand. We need more oil. Raise the price, right? What do we need these politicians for? I don't see where they're doing any good. Are they making your life better? They're not doing anything for mine. I think it's real interesting how worthless these people have made themselves. They've made themselves disposable. Okay. Seriously. They don't stand for anything except their next bribe. Okay. That's all they care about. You and I would never function that way. You and I would go into work and we would try to do the best job that we can every day, the same as we always do, right? You and I have a work ethic, right? They have no ethics at all. Mm-hmm. It's like the Bureau of Labor Statistics, right? I don't like the numbers coming out of there, so I'm going to fire the boss and I'll put in some guy that gives me better numbers. The guy gives me better numbers, and 3 months later, I find out, oh, his numbers were a total lie. How absurd is that? Yeah, you and I could not do that job. I'm sorry. You know, our work ethic wouldn't allow it. Our morals wouldn't allow it. Okay. These idiots shut down the government and they went on vacation. And then they still get their paychecks. They've got it set up so even when the government closes, they still get their paycheck. And their paycheck is the smallest part of their income. They get the bulk of their income from the bribes. Oh, yeah. It's not that they're making asses out of us. They're making themselves disposable. Next. Don't need an incumbent. Next. No, you stole enough last year. Let's get somebody new in here. I just think it's hilarious. Could you imagine doing that kind of crap to your own family? Well, they think that they can fix it all next year. Kick that can down the road. That's their whole, you know. This government shutdown is going to end. And guess what? There's another one next month. They have another deadline next month. So the smart governing body would clear the budget for the entire year. They don't operate in a smart way. No, they don't think ahead. They don't plan ahead. They're not building for a future. They're raping America financially. That's all they're doing. A financial rape. I'm taking this from you and you can't stop me because I have the power. How absurd. That's not building for a future. That's not how you and I operate, right? Well, if we don't plan for a future, we don't have a future, right? Well, a certain amount of Americans that voted want the chaos. They want them to self destruct our government. There's a percentage of Americans that are just fed up. They're tired of trying, and they have a burn it all down mentality. And you can't really blame them. I mean, we've been doing this for a couple hundred years now, and it's not getting any better. 200 years ago, did Americans need health care? Yeah. Did they get it? No. Well, 150 years ago, did Americans need health care? Yeah. Did they get it? No. Okay. You see my point? They don't care. And not only do they not care, the crew that was in there before them didn't care. The crew that was in before them didn't care. When you see one that cares, they get ostracized, they get pushed aside, and nobody wants to be on their team. Look at Bernie Sanders, right? I don't know if you can remember, but back in the day in Chicago, when Bernie was a young man, I saw him getting arrested on national TV. He was facing off with cops in riot gear, getting arrested, right? The history like that, why wasn't anyone on his team? Of all of Congress, why didn't they all line up and follow Bernie and say, you're on the right track, we'll straighten this out together? Because they were looking for a bribe instead. They wanted to line their own wallet. Okay. That's all they cared about. Bernie's trying to work within the system, and he's always tried to work within the system. But the system don't work. Okay. It just doesn't. These guys are, I don't know. They're just selfish. You know, it's like take a one cupcake, set it on a table, and put 5 2-year-olds around the table, and tell them all, one of you can have this cupcake, and then walk away. That's the US government in a nutshell right there. One of you can have this cupcake, and then just walk away. Somebody's going to get that cupcake, I guarantee it. One of the first things I taught my sons at 2 was to share. Okay. These clowns in Washington, they don't know how to share. They only know how to take. I think it's funny, but it's a serious problem. It really is. and there's no chance of improvement. Nothing in sight. There's no light at the end of that tunnel. Okay. These guys are never going to tire of stealing. They'll never get tired of the grift, never get tired of the hustle. It's the only thing they know how to do. Cheat, hustle, lie. Not the kind of people you invite into your home, are they? Well, you don't see them, any of them sitting on my couch. I guarantee you that. They're not welcome here. I don't have liars in my life. Okay. I don't allow them in. A liar never gets invited to my house for dinner. Guaranteed. Do you invite liars into your home for dinner? I don't think so. Okay. Well, it's a good thing they got a government credit card so they can all go out to dinner on our dime, because they're the only one they got to eat with are their fellow liars. Okay. It's just absurd. You and I don't operate on that level. I know you don't. I know because I've been studying and watching people all of my life. All those years in Vegas, I met good people from every country on the earth. Good people. Honest people. Yeah, it's not going to change. Well, they've got the Supreme Court in their pocket. I mean, that's the most tainted organization in America right now. They're allowing everything bad that's happening to go on, and they're saying, well, yeah, it's okay with us. Well, they want to go fishing. They want to go on their next lavish trip. That that their bribes are coming in. Okay. I honestly, I really don't know why the American people continue to put up with it. I mean, think about it. If you took all these bad politicians that are taking all these bribes, the House, the Senate, the state houses, the state senates, and you put them all in Guantanamo Bay, what are there? Maybe 4,000 of them total? Yeah, and well, throw in the corporate CEOs that are paying the bribes too. Put them all in there. Come up with a total like 4,000 of them and lock them up. And then let's just start over. Okay. The Republican Party, the Democratic Party, equally to blame. Equally. Whether you see it that way or not, equally. Both had a chance to get us health care. Where's our health care? Why is your corporate jet a tax write-off? It shouldn't be. Why is a political contribution tax deductible? So that they can bribe. They've legalized it. Yeah. That's what this whole Citizens United was about years ago. It's all bunk. They don't care. They're just moving on to their next grift, their next crime. Okay. Right now, the big one is the Epstein cover-up. Oh, you better believe if that was not the rich and the famous that was on that list, we'd have the list. If it was just citizens like you and I, that list would be out. But because it's all these ultra rich guys, no. They've got the records. They've got paper trails on everyone in America. They know where my income comes from. They look in my bank account, right? Where'd Jeffrey Epstein's income come from? Who was paying the pimp? They've got the records. They know exactly who was paying the pimp, and they know that they're not going to tell us ever. Okay. They've got a paper trail. No, these people weren't flying to Epstein's Island with sacks of cash. They did it with wire transfers. They did it in plain view. They have no fear. They have all the power. Why would we think that we're ever going to get to know that information? They're not going to let it out. Well, look at the last group that were storing their money in offshore bank accounts to avoid taxes. Did we ever hear about that? No. Okay. What was that? The Panama Papers? Yeah. Oh, it came out, but it didn't get any press because the press is owned by the same corporations, the same guys. Okay. No, it's not going to come out. Well, they're setting us up so that they can tease us with it down the road, you know. Our next president, okay, I can hear him on the campaign trail already. He's saying, oh, yeah, we're going to get an investigation. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Well, by the time they get to the bottom of this, all the people that were on Epstein's list are going to be dead. Okay, they're going to be gone. They'll just delay it 25, 30 years. They do it with all of these things. They just delay it. That's why I watch football. Okay. Football is entertaining, whereas following these politicians is not entertaining to me. That's self-abuse. Okay. I wouldn't work on a politician's campaign. They couldn't pay me to do it. Okay. No, not me. I have no interest. I'm not running for public office. And I'm not selling you anything. And I'm sorry if you disagree with any of my opinions. Feel free to jump in the chat and tell me how you disagree. Tell me where I'm wrong. I would appreciate the back and forth. I look forward to it. Afternoon chat's not supposed to be a show about me sitting here ranting. It's supposed to be a show about the people in the chat. What's on their mind? What do they want to discuss? What do they want to talk about? What are their priorities? not mine. I'm just a ghost. I'm not even sure I'm really here. Okay. The hardest part about living in America nowadays is you might need to self-censor. You might need to shut the TV off and not let these people radicalize you. You might need to draw a line in the sand and say, I'm taking a couple of days off, guys, because you're giving me an ulcer, you know? Try not to drive me nuts. It's like banging your head against the wall. Eventually it gets old. Okay. Eventually you get a headache. Okay. You may not have one after the first tap, but on tap 10,000, you're going to have a headache. Okay. It's going to be a serious headache. It's Friday. All right. This show is called Afternoon Chat. I'm your host, Ghost Mostly. I'm on here on YouTube exclusively, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everyone is invited. Everyone is welcome. Come in, let's chat, let's talk things out. Let's hear your opinion. In order to chat, you need to go to YouTube and download the Discord app. Once you got the Discord app, you can chat, use your phone, tablet, computer. Voice your opinion. You chat it, I'll read it, we'll discuss it. There's no charge. It's a 100% free show. No sponsors, no mid-roll ads. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to control or manipulate the conversation. I'm not trying to talk you into anything. What I'm trying to do is build a community of people that want to get together and chat Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern. I do need you to like and subscribe. And I do need the viewing hours. Okay. But there's no charge for any of it. Right? With no one in here to chat with, the way I've chosen to end each show or wind it down is to talk to you about my live and let live philosophy. It's my opinion that we need to leave each other alone. Okay? Stop bugging people. Many things are not your business. Okay? Many things. You're not a judge. You're not a jury. I don't have to live up to your expectations. You don't have to live up to mine. A lot of people want to micromanage their neighbor. We here are all mowing our lawn north and south, and here you are mowing yours east and west. Well, that's just not good enough. Why isn't it good enough? Leave that man alone. And he should in turn leave you alone. All people are unique. We're all individuals. Leave me alone. I'll leave you alone. We'll get along just fine. Live and let live. That's what I'm saying to you. You cannot pick and choose for me. And I have no right to pick and choose for you. We have rights. We have a Bill of Rights. And we get a freedom of speech. But that freedom of speech is a double-edged sword. Every person you call a jerk has the same right to call you a jerk. So you need to have a thick skin. You can't let things bother you. If you can't let things bother you, then live and let live. Excuse me. Well, for example, our Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. You have the right to own a gun. So if you want to dress in some camouflage pajamas and go run around in the woods, you're entitled. You have that right by law. I have no right to tell you you can't do it because you have that right. I need to get over it and leave you alone. Let you be an individual. Let you do your thing. You can that way get a value, a quality of life in your eyes, right? On the same token, another man wants to wear a dress. Leave him alone. It's none of your business how he dresses. None of your business. Leave that person alone. Let them be an individual. I don't care if they're a screwed up individual. Let them be. It's not your job to micromanage this person. It's none of your concern what he does. No, you don't need to enact 75 brand new bathroom laws to protect yourself from him. The same reason I don't need to enact 75 brand new laws to protect myself from the guy running around in the woods with his pajama carrying an AK-47. Leave him alone. Leave each other alone. Live and let live. I guarantee you, when push comes to shove and we're all standing here together because we're in trouble, I call it chest high water because the dam broke and nobody went and fixed it. The government's not going to save your ass. It's that neighbor that's wearing a dress. He's also a boat owner and he comes rolling by and he offers you a hand to get you out of that chest deep water. You're going to take his hand and you're going to climb into that boat. You don't care if he's wearing a dress. You don't care if he's wearing a red hat. You don't care what religion he is. What you care about was that he was kind enough to come over and get you out of chest deep floodwater. And I also know that if you're the guy in the boat, you're going to stop and pick me up. You're not going to sit there and watch me drown. That's not what we do. We care about one another. And when the shit hits the fan, we help one another. We're Americans. This is what we do. You're not going to sit there and watch me drown because I have a red hat on. You don't have it in you. You're going to roll over and you're going to help me out the water. I know you will. Okay? This is what we do. We don't micromanage each other. We don't pick and choose for each other. But when the shit hits the fan, we do help each other. If you didn't want to help other people, if you didn't want to be on the team, you wouldn't live in a city. You'd live 20 miles from nowhere You'd be holed up in the middle of nowhere where there is no one to help or no one to get help from, right? We live in cities because when human beings collaborate, they succeed. When human beings work together, they accomplish things. So live and let live. That's all I'm saying. Leave those people alone. That person that you're trying to mess with could be going through something. What if he's got parents that are dying? What if he's got kids that are sick? If you have parents that are dying, if you have kids that are sick, do you want some guy coming over and telling you you can't have white walls on your car? What business is it of his? It's no business of his. Live and let live. This is my opinion from my couch in my living room. That's all I can offer you. If you'd like to offer me your opinion, please jump in the chat and let's have at it. I would love to hear from you. Your opinion matters to me. You matter to me. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here and watching my show. I appreciate you when you hit like, and I appreciate when you hit the subscribe. And those of you that don't hit the like and subscribe, I appreciate you too. Okay? Be patient with one another. Be understanding with one another. Be compassionate with one another. These are the traits that make us good, make us valuable. Okay? I know the whole world's trying to pit you against each other. Ignore that. Self-censor. Turn that switch. Turn it off. Don't listen to it. Don't believe in it. Believe in what's in your heart, right? Be nice to everybody. I think you'll like the result. If you're always nice to everyone, that kindness, that niceness will come back to you tenfold. I'm your host, Ghost Mostly. Thank you for putting up with me today. I appreciate you being here. I'll be back on Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Afternoon chat will return next week, and I look forward to seeing you there. All right? Be good, be happy, be nice. I'll see you Monday.